Great. It's the new single from Hurts. It's called Voices on BBC Radio Leicester. And earlier on, I had the absolute pleasure of speaking to vocalist Theo from the band and asked him all about life in lockdown.
Well, it's pretty strange. I think for a lot of musicians or people in the creative industry, I'm sort of used to working in isolation. I mean, I've been doing it for 15 years now. so the sort of day-to-day life isn't much different. It's sort of working alone and going out for walks, really. So that hasn't changed. I guess, obviously, life in London is very different because that's where I live, and it's very odd. The peaceful, calm streets and the silence and stuff has been weird. But we've just been busy the whole time, you know. I think because we were working to finish the album and to finish artwork and things like this before it all happened. And when we decided that we were going to go ahead and release it all, the work just carried on. So been very fortunate in that respect to have been busy the whole time. So yeah.
And that the new album stuff hasn't been disrupted at all. It's sort of the plan is still in place, is it?
Yeah, well, we were at a crossroads where we had to think whether to release it or to wait. But the problem we faced is you wait for what an unknown time when everything's going to be fine again. And we were written the album, we were really excited about it, so we just wanted to get it out there and give it a go, you know. And it's got challenges, obviously, and it's different, but I guess that's quite exciting in a way. It's a different way of doing things.
Let's talk new music then. We've heard the new single Voices. Tell me, first of all, go back to the inspiration when you were writing this tune. Where did that stem from?
Well, it's quite odd, really. It was written, the sort of process of writing the album was very up and down. You know, there was times when I couldn't work or I was struggling myself. And it was a song that sort of came out of that, you know, about being isolated and struggling, you know, with mental health problems and stuff. And then weirdly, when it came round to releasing it, it was a time when it appears that a lot of people are feeling those same things, you know, about being isolated and the power of the mind. So it was an odd turnaround that when we came to release it, I was like, oh, strangely enough, it's probably more relevant now than it was when we wrote it, you know, for other people. So, yeah.
I don't mean to brag, but the note I'd just written down is more fitting than ever.
It's right. It's really strange, how these things happen, you know, and that's another reason as to why we wanted to put it out, really, because we felt that there was sort of no better time for it as a song.
It's been out sort of just coming up to a month or so. It's been out and about there, the single. Have you had much response from people about how it has affected them and how they've responded to it?
Yeah, I have actually. A lot of the fans have said similar things, and even just people I've spoke to, friends of mine and stuff like that. It's like someone would say people saying that it's not been easy for everybody. You know, I think everybody during this time has had a little glimpse at what it's like to struggle with these things, these internal battles, and so it's quite cathartic. You know, when you write tunes and you sort of feel a certain way, it's reassuring to know that other people feel the same. So it works both ways, you know. Sometimes you listen to a song and think, oh, somebody thinks like I do. But it also works when you write the songs to get that feedback.
Was it always planned as the first single, or were you encouraged by the fact that we find ourselves in this situation and this single would resonate with a lot of people?
No, it was actually always a plan. You know, it was one of our songs we wrote in the period, and it was always the one that we felt was an exciting start. So, yeah, it was always part of the plan, and then the world bent around it, weirdly.
I suppose it's funny. I've been talking to a number of musicians who have released songs in lockdown that have told me that the song has taken on a new meaning, and the song has sort of fit into the way people's lives are totally different in isolation. But I suppose for you, like you've just said, it's not the song that's changed; it's everybody else's perspective, is it?
Yeah, that sort of feels like it's it. I mean, it's hard. It's got a positive message, you know. The song, it is about the sort of power of the mind to do good and bad, and ultimately the fact that the power of the mind it can be used for good. So I think it is reassuring in a lot of ways. But yeah, you're right. It definitely feels on the nose, you know, which is it's strange. It's just very odd to observe, you know, for me.
You made the fans work a little bit initially to hear and to see the lyric video. You've been releasing some puzzles, haven't you? Yeah. So that was just, I mean, it was a fun. I like making puzzles for people, so it was a fun thing to do, you know, to get all the fans talking and engaging, because our fans are spread out across the world. You know, we're a band that we travel a lot, you know, and our music travels a lot, which is amazing for us. And there's a big community of them online that it's nice to get them all together. So yeah, I spent quite a while devising some puzzles, some easier than others, for people to try and solve, to get the song lyrics and things like that. And yeah, it went well, I think. They still haven't solved them all a month later, but that is it's a different story. So have you we've been constantly talking about people doing quizzes and stuff on Zoom and House Party, that kind of thing, with family during this. Have you been the king of your quizzes? I've
done a couple, but I'm quite a good pub quiz guy. I know lots of useless facts. So I've not set any quizzes yet, but I've definitely been a confident competitor in the other ones.
How have you found? I mentioned the fact that you're on there with the fans and doing the puzzles, but actually further than that, you've been interacting a fair bit with fans on Telegram during this whole process. How have you found that?
It's been good. Yeah, I mean, Telegram is like it's a new thing for us. You know, it's a messaging service for those who don't know. It's a messaging service that's a bit like WhatsApp and a bit like iMessage, but it's even more private and more private. And it's used a lot in Eastern Europe and Russia and stuff, where a lot of our fans are. And one of the things you can do on it is make big group chats with infinite members. So what we've done is we've set up our own group chat, basically, with all of the fans across the world. And so it's been a really fun way to just communicate with people directly and give special bits of content and special things out to people. Yeah, it's been a fun way of engaging, I think, with people.
I've been loving listening to voices, but Theo, I'm greedy. I want more. When can we expect more from the album? And is there set dates and stuff yet?
Well, you can expect more. That's all I'll say.
Oh yeah.
You won't be disappointed if you expect more.
Okay, I'm going to try and work that out. What you mentioned the themes and stuff of voices. Is the rest of the album similar to that kind of thing?
Yeah, I guess so. It's quite an introspective album. It's somewhere between, I think for people who've heard us before, it's somewhere between our first and second albums we made. It's a slightly darker than the last album we made. So yeah, it was just something we felt like we needed to explore, you know, some music that we hadn't made for quite a while. So yeah, hopefully there's something in it for everyone who's followed us. And then if people are hearing it for the first time, hearing voices and enjoying it, then yeah, I think it's an indicator of things.
I'm not going to be able to poke you enough to get, release date of the next single or anything, am I?
No, it's soon.
Okay, we like soon. Okay, Theo.
Soon's good enough.
Soon is good enough. I can take that. Theo, I want to talk to you as well as the creativity and interacting with the fans. Big part of lockdown and isolation has been the boredom, which I know a lot of people have been dealing with. So I'm going to do a bit of a Q&A with you about the content that's got you through that. All right. So
yes, okay.
I'm intrigued to know what is a meal that you've been cooking over and over.
A meal that I've been cooking over and over. Well, I'll flip it and I'll say a special treat that I've been ordering for myself, which I don't get to eat very often, is I really like chips. I really like chip shop chips.
Yes.
And obviously most of them are closed. But the first time I had some, about 8 weeks in or something to the lockdown, I nearly burst into tears. and listen, they're a magical treat. Some chip shop chips, especially in this current climate.
Do you know what? The people who've been queuing up at your big brand name fast food shops, I can leave that. I was like you. I was straight down to the chippy.
Yeah, but it's a sensation, honestly.
Do you mix it up a bit? Do you have curry sauce, bit of gravy? Or are you happy just as they are, salt and vinegar?
I'm happy plain, but because I grew up in the northeast, so obviously I like a lot of gravy and curry sauce. but listen, plain's fine for me at the moment.
What's a book that you've read?
I've read 2 books actually that are quite interesting. I read a book called National Treasure, which is a book about why the actor Nicolas Cage is the greatest actor of all time, which I agree with. I agreed with before I read the book, and now I only believe it more.
I was just about to, crack what I thought was a dumb joke, asking if it was about the Nicolas Cage film. That's brilliant. I need to read this.
It's just about him as an actor and about why he's brilliant, and that's it. That's all you need to know.
It's going on the list. What's the other one?
And the other one, and then I started to read, because obviously for a bit of escapism is quite nice at this time, I started to read the Brothers Grimm fairy tales every so often, because I realised I hadn't read them since I was a kid. And if you read them as an adult, they're very, very strange and very violent and very dark, which I never really realised. Even ones like Red Riding Hood, Rapunzel, Rumpelstiltskin, the actual original ones are very strange. So that's been fun.
Beautiful. What's a film that you've watched?
So stick with escapism. I mean, I've watched countless. I've probably watched about 100 and odd films. But to stick with escapism, I spent the last week watching only action films. So I watched Under Siege. I watched Hard Target. I watched Face Off.
Nice.
All 3 of those never cease to entertain me. So they're brilliant.
How about a TV box set that you've binged?
I don't actually watch much TV. I don't really watch many series, but I think eternally one of my favourite ever TV shows is First Dates.
Sorry, as in the Channel 4...
The Channel 4 TV show, yeah.
I'm sorry, you've just made my life. I
love that show.
I love this programme. And both my parents love this programme. They're going to be so excited. Just try and tell me why you love that show so much.
I love First Dates because it is just human, It's human beings doing human things. And it makes you laugh, it makes you cry. It's sweet. Some people are absolutely unbelievable on it. The lack of self-awareness. But yeah, it's just great. It's just like a human zoo, isn't it, almost?
Theo, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. The new Hurts single, Voices, is out there now, and Theo says the next one will be soon, so we will hold him to that. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Would you end by picking me a song that either something you've been listening to throughout lockdown or just something that brings you joy? Okay, so a song, one of my all-time favourite songs, and particularly special at this time, is by LCD Sound System, and it's a song called All My Friends. And it's got a great lyric in it, which is, if I could see all my friends tonight, which I'm sure all of us have dreamt of during the lockdown, and some of us are getting the chance to do that now. But yeah, always puts a smile on my face. Theo from Hurts, this is his choice, and it's one of my favourites as well. LCD Sound System, All My Friends on BBC Radio Leicester. That's how it starts.